Yeah, there's a big selection of powered by apocalypse games out there now.
Yeah, Dungeon World's really cool too.
I've been wanting to try that.
I have Dungeon World books too. I think the entire thing's free online.
Yeah, I made a campaign. Maybe we could play it sometime.
That would be
that'd
fun.
Be cool.
Also, if either of you guys, like this goes out to Homer as well, but I talk to him more regularly, ever want to do 5e D&D, I actually know that game now, so I could run that.
I might be game. I need to get my feet wet again like this.
Sure, yeah.
But another Apocalypse World game, I mean, they have one for, like, if you want to play, like, wrestling, like WWE style wrestling games. Right. And they have one, it's called Monster Hearts, and it's the players are monsters in high school.
That's great.
Yeah, that one's all about relationships and fucking people over and stuff like that, right?
Yes. It's all about high school relationships, except as another twist, you're also either a vampire or a ghost or a zombie or a werewolf.
This is the best.
I gotta look into that.
Best.
Yeah.
There was a. Do you know what bundle of holding is?
Is it like a bag of holding?
Okay, what they do is they take like a bunch of games and they put it into a package, and you can buy them all at once at like a low price.
Oh, okay,
you just get a bunch of PDFs, and they cycle through these. They had a bundle of holding with all the Powered by Apocalypse games, and there's like 8 or 9 of them. And
right on.
And they had them all there, and so you like have Apocalypse World, Dungeon World, Monster Hearts, Monster of the Week, so you can play games like Supernatural or X-Files.
Nice.
And they all follow the same really freeform pattern of storytelling type gameplay.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like people that never played before in their whole life and don't even know, they could pick up on this. I mean, it's not that hard.
Oh no, this is easy. It's not very rules heavy. It's very like story driven.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what I wanted.
So Pip, as we were driving back, Pip looks down under the, like in the sidecar and goes, "Oh shit, there's a beer there." Slams a beer, pees off the side of the sidecar, and says, "Okay, I'm ready. What are we doing?"
All right. So what's the mechanics of your peeing?
I'm going to. This is you got me in a pickle. I turn around to face away from Stitch, and I pee into a cup, and then I throw it over the side. Then I sit back down, and I look at Stitch, and I go, "But you already know the answer."
Well, you are wearing a kilt, remember?
Right. But remember, he knows my secret because he worked on me a long time ago and lied and said he'd never tell anybody, so I was pissed.
All right. So all right. I'm going to ask you a few more things about the world. Cuz we're building Salt Flat City now.
Yeah.
There's not a lake anymore. So,
the lake dried up.
Yeah, the lake dried up. So it's a salt flat. So it can't be Salt Flat Lake City. It's a Salt Flat City. Stitch, tell me something about the world itself that is important to know.
That's important to know?
yeah, about after the apocalypse. Just tell me something about the world itself.
Okay. Well, I mean, after the apocalypse, it's kind of like any other cliche apocalypse. Like with the lake drying up in this area specifically, water has been way harder to come by, and clean water even more so. So when you can find clean water, it's usually pretty important that you can do so. Most places will sell you water, but it's going to be like basically drained out from mud, so it kind of has this shitty taste, and it probably isn't too healthy for you, but that doesn't really matter because you're going to die in this world probably anyway. Nobody really cares too much about that. But it's one of the higher commodities you can come by, if you can come by it. It's like the most sought after.
Pure water, bro. Pure water.
Okay, so you'd say, like, regionally, there's just no clean water anywhere.
Like in this area, yeah, and as far as my character has been in this world, he still hasn't seen a place with, like, a lot of fresh, clean water available, even though there have been stories of people he's worked on that say that such places still exist.
Okay. ShitRon.
Mm-hmm.
What's, tell me something more locally about Salt Flat City that is really important to know.
Just the number of resources lately, and like the number of just groups around to like get stuff from has been dwindling. Like just the number of supplies are down, so people are much more hungry. So like this event is happening mostly to cull. Like it's like the point of this event is for people to die, so that the rest of us, everyone who's still around, can have a better chance of living.
Ooh, that's really good.
Yeah, that's good. Like a death race scenario sort of thing, but people kind of go in knowing that even if they die, it's almost for greater good in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like martyrs.
So, Salt Flat City is really strapped for resources because there's too much population in that local vicinity. So all of the different biker gangs and drivers and all of them are kind of meet for this race to help keep population control.
Sounds good.
Pip, who is someone that holds a lot of power in Salt Flat City?
Well, in Salt Flat City, we've lost all of the knowledge from our past history, except for one thing. We know the lineage of people, their parents, their grandparents, cousins. We know all of that because it was all written down in these books. And the guy that's really important is called the Overseer. And he lives like not in the flats, but in the old dilapidated ruins of the actual city. There's like this church type place, and there's like a not a mystery, but like a myth or like a old wives' tale that there's some missing pages to the book, and they're somewhere around, but we don't know where they are.
So what makes them powerful is just having like this knowledge, the knowledge.
It's like they know like who is related to who and how this person's related to that person, and there's some disease that's floating around that they're trying to nail down because they believe that the disease is passed on from genetics.
Okay, cool. That's kind of
Okay.
clarifying.
Do you think a cult of the Overseer has been developed then?
Oh, there's for sure a cult. They 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 go by. They're just called the Dust, and they're kind of like a sect that follows behind the overseer's words, even though nobody ever really sees the overseer. There's just words you hear, and the dust kind of just floats around everywhere. And everywhere they kind of go, they kind of wear these funky robes and, kind of like really super pale. But once someone gets identified as being like part of the genealogy that passes along the disease, those people end up missing. They never find bodies, they just end up missing. And that's kind of the dust. Oh, and they're polygamous.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, they got to keep their order growing, so everybody's free game, I guess.
Yeah, like if you can imagine in your mind, like in the Conan the Barbarian movie, the way those disciple people were dressed around that snake dude, like that's kind of how these people look, but they're real pale and real, it's more apocalyptic.
Sure. So, ShitRon, what's your gang's relationship to the dust?
Mostly just try to stay out of the way of any other groups, and more like stay out in the. Most of the time, we're like out in the plains, sort of at the edges. So we're viewed as like a nuisance, but yeah.
Stitch, have you ever tried treating someone with this disease that the dust tracks?
I've tried treating it, but to no avail. Basically, it's kind of like almost like the Black Plague in a way. I've been trying to stay away from it because the one case I saw of it, somebody's skin was basically just falling off, and it was just a really bad situation, and they asked for help. I tried helping, but nothing I could do seemed to even have any effect at all. Even just like covering a bleeding wound on somebody with this sickness, the blood would just soak through anything, including my own hands, to the point where like they would feel soggy and wet. It's just the worst thing in this world that I've ever seen, and it actually kind of terrifies me a bit. Like, to see a ailment that can't be cured goes against everything I believe.
So it's a hemorrhagic fever.
Yeah, it has different effects basically on whoever gets it and what their blood type and blood is like. So for some people with like certain, maybe like a thicker blood or something, or thick skin or something, if they get bad bleeding, it just won't stop. For some people with thin blood, it doesn't really affect their blood as much as it like kind of makes them feel ill, like maybe their blood is on fire inside their body and like they can't get rid of their nausea and fever, and just start vomiting everywhere, sort of thing. So it depends on the person more than anything.
Okay.
And in that regard, like, I guess my character kind of almost looks up to this cult in a way, because they're doing the only thing that I think is probable to try to get rid of it, and I believe that having like this disease spread around is bad. So I don't hold them in any bad regard at all. I just think that they're trying to do what is best for everybody.
And so have we gotten back to the little, like the race tent area?
Yeah, at this time, like, I'm just collecting some information so that...
Yeah. I am just kind of, because I was going to say another thing. So
Yeah.
as we come back there, like, I kind of feel, even though I don't really trust Stitch, like, I kind of feel like I know him.
Oh,
And-
you definitely know him. You have a +3 history with him.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like I know what drives Stitch, and I don't necessarily think he's always right or he's a good guy. But as we get back, I kind of like reach into my little pouch and I pull out a piece of paper or like a parchment, and it looks like it's been ripped from a book. And I fold it open just a little bit, just real quick, and I go, the answers are here. And I go, pip, and I put it back in my bag.
At this
Okay.
point, I just think Pip is like crazy, so everything Pip is saying, like to me or around me, I just kind of ignore in a way. I try not to get too attached to people that might die.
Which is everyone.
Exactly.
You and me both.
Like, unless I heal them. That's another thing about him, is that, like, he doesn't really care about people, but if he heals them, he wants to make sure that, like, his work is recognized and, like, hey, yeah, I'm your doctor, I'm the one keeping you alive. There's almost a bond there. So there's somewhat of something there with Pip, because I looked after something for them, but, like, at the same time, I just think Pip is too a little out there, and that
Gotcha.
maybe he or she was my, like, worst failure yet or something.
I'm the one you built with Legos.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other character.
Same thing.
Yeah. But as I put it away, I'm like, the overseer's secrets are right there.
My ears perk up a little bit at it, but I still ignore it, just thinking about how maybe I could steal it later.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try a move. I'm going to
All right.
go with a seduce or manipulate someone.
Okay, what are you trying to do?
Okay, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get Stitch to tell the others, like, hey, Pip has something. You should look at it.
To tell the others, as in who's the others?
The bike gang, Shitty and the Shitstorm.
Like, I guess
Okay.
what Pip is trying to do is, like, use some body language or tone of voice when they're talking about this piece of paper to make me really get intrigued by it and, like, bring it up.
Like a magic wink. Like a...
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
so I roll on this, right?
Yeah. Do you want
Ooh.
to
Go
help
ahead.
or interfere, Stitch?
I want Stitch to make everybody else know about the piece of paper that I just told him about.
All right.
And I
Now-
already rolled, that's why I went, ooh. I rolled a 10. And I think, which is that for me? Hot? Is that hot for me?
Yes.
So it's +1, so I get 11.
Okay. So, do you want to help or interfere, Stitch?
I think just my normal disposition about not caring really would probably be interfere, so I guess I'll roll that.
Okay, so make a history roll
History roll.
versus Pip.
Okay. A 3.
Okay, so, Stitch, if you tell people, if you kind of like spread the rumor, you get experience. If you
Okay.
refuse, you are acting under fire until I decide.
Okay, yeah. I think, like, maybe, like, I don't really care about what she's saying, but I do have an interest in this overseer and the cult and all that sort of stuff. And just based on stories I heard, and I would like to see this stuff for myself, so when she's talking a little bit more coyly about it, I do get a little, like, excited about it. And when we get back, I just kind of go over to ShitRon and say, you know about this overseer guy thing?
You get experience, bro. Mark your experience.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
When he says that, I just kind of lock eyes with him and kind of do like a head nod towards Pip, who's probably getting off the bike or whatever, and just like say they know something about him.
And so Pip kind of looks, kind of smiles, walks over to both of them, reaches into the bag, pulls out the piece of parchment, doesn't even say a word, just unfolds it open and points at 3 places on the sheet. Boom, boom, boom. And every single one of our names are on it. So it says Shitstorm, a.k.a., and then it has a real name, Todd McFarlane. And then it says Stitch. Then it says Stitch, a.k.a. Serge Falconov, a.k.a. Bob McFarlane. And then it says Pip, a.k.a. question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And that's it.
Oh,
But there's tons of names. There's tons of names on here, but all our names are on there.
I guess I just asked Pip, where did you get this?
I can't tell you how I got it, but suffice to say, it wasn't easy, and the people that had it didn't deserve it. This whole thing is not what you think. We're on this list for a reason. And there's only one place to find out why.
I just look over at ShitRon.
I just say, we are all in this world to die. Such is our lot. I care not about some list of names. Some of my gang might, but my interest is not piqued.
I talk a little more to ShitRon about, like, how weird this whole thing is with our names in there, and how, like, whoever wrote this knew my actual name, even though everybody in this world just calls me Stitch or Doc or whatever. So I guess, what would that be, like a manipulate to try to get him to care?
Yeah.
Alright, manipulate is hot, which is worst stat. Okay.
Go, go, go!
10.
Are you gonna help or interfere?
I
ShitRon?
guess I'll interfere.
Okay, roll history.
So I rolled an 8. And then that's +1.
Okay. So you rolled a 9.
Yes.
All right. So Stitch, you get to choose if they do it, they mark experience, or if they refuse, it's acting under fire.
They do it.
Okay. So ShitRon, if you care about this, you mark an experience. Otherwise, nothing happens. But also, if you take an interest, you know that the dust will start taking more of an interest in your gang.
So, the character ShitRon thinks about it, and then goes, stirring up trouble would probably be good for us. I don't like the idea of people who still remember the past being out there. Fine. We'll look into this.
Okay, so mark experience. ShitRon, what's another gang out there that you kind of have a rivalry with?
The Johns.
This is funny on so many levels.
Yep, it's pretty good.
They're a roving gang of male prostitutes who are also shit fetishists.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had to treat them before. They're gross.
They all have syphilis.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, it's of course that's why they're attracted to the shitstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Who's the leader of the Johns?
It's gotta be Dick.
Or John.
Or Wang.
John.
John versus Richard John and Wang John.
Everybody Wang
And Long John.
Tonight.
It's John without an H. Whereas the rest of them are John with an H.
I fucking hate Johns without an H.
He's got the hipster name. And they're all hipsters.
What else? Okay. So you see the Johns arrive for the what did we call this?
Salt Lake Flats?
Well, yeah. What's this? Shitstorm 2 Triple X.
Oh yeah. Shitstorm 20 Triple X.
20 Triple X. Because of course, since it's Triple X, they're totally intrigued. A couple of your gang kind of grimace at their arrival, but you knew that they were eventually going to show up.
Can they be incredibly clean? Like they're just perfectly clean. There's no dirt or anything on them.
Yeah, I was thinking like they're all in like smooth leathers that are completely
Like latex almost.
yes, like immaculate bikes.
Like
And-
every dude looks like Freddie Mercury.
Exactly. in this world, they're dandies still.
Yeah, the dandy.
Mm.
Which is completely different than your gang.
Do we notice John's name on the list that Pip gave us?
Can I interject?
If you want.
It's not on the list. The only names on there's a bunch of names on the list, but the only 3 you know are ours.
Okay.
Okay. So, what else is happening?
We got to figure this shit out. I've had this for a while, and I have some history of it, and I know where it's from. I'm not ready right now to tell you guys, but you'll understand later why I'm not telling you. But we need to figure this shit out.
I agree. I don't like my name written on fucking lists.
Where would we even start?
The only thing I know is Overseer, and they said the city and the Tabby Hackle. It's in the Tabby Hackle.
You know how to get to such a place? The city's not a place I want to be wandering around.
The only thing I know is they said it was past that, what's that clip joint we were just at? The gambling Chucky's. What was
Chins.
it? Chin's Chin, or Chin's Chumps, or whatever. It's supposed to be past there about 50 miles, but I don't know for sure.
Chin's Chumps.
What time of the day is this that we're discussing?
You've had a pretty eventful day, so it's like coming around sundown.
Okay.
And when sundown comes, it gets extremely cold.
Right. I don't want to go out in the dark. That's when the bad people really come out, so we can wait until morning and check it out.
I'm good with that. I'll buy you a drink. Beep.
I ignore the pip and just, like, get excited about the prospects of a drink, even though I know it's going to taste like shit.
And then as he, like, ignores me, I walk, like, super sexy, all dirty and shit, in the front door of the tent thing. And just kind of, like, turn around and look at him and go, boop, boop, beep, doo.
I just kind of, like, hang my head down, like, into my hand and just kind of shake it, like, God damn it.
I walk over to check on Dice.
Dice is inside. He still hasn't woken up yet.
I just sit by near him and wait for him to wake up if he does.
Can I walk up and, like, pull a smelling salt or something out of my kit?
Sure.
Wake him up? Do I need to roll that, or can I just say I did it?
You can say you did it.
Cool.
So he kind of wakes up, and he's like, ugh, what is that shit?
I'm just trying to think of, like, what it could be. It probably is actually just, like, dog shit or something that I found in the wasteland that I keep in a pouch.
Packing of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the sweat from like your body kind of activates it, and it gets stinky again, and then
Yeah, exactly.
it dries back out.
It's a vial of zum sweat. Only Vit Chat people will get that, but it's hilarious.
Okay.
So once he wakes up, I grab him on the shoulder and then I slightly squeeze his injured hand to get so he's like hurts, but I have his full attention.
Right.
And I go, remember what you did this day and what caused this. And then I put the dagger that was stabbed through his hand. I just like push it into his chest. Say, remember. And then I let him go.
I just look at him in awe, like, what the fuck just happened?
Like stabbed it into his chest and killed him, or
no. I didn't. I like put it flat.
Oh, that's a whole different thing.
Fuck.
Yes.
No, I understood what he meant.
Murdered the dude.
No. Sorry.
Okay, so now
cold.
So
he's
I'm giving him the dagger, basically, in the
like he sits back and he's like extremely confused because Fatso's the one that stabbed him, and he's not sure what he did.
Yep, that's all appropriate. I walk away.
I mean, you gotta keep him in line somehow.
He's like,
Motherfucker is cray.
ShitRon gives advice. Doesn't always give advice that makes sense to anyone, though.
A little bit senile, just a bit.
all right. Think I'd like to end it here for today.
Cool.
Sure.
All right.
I'm gonna build up some stuff for our next session.
Cool.
And then
Sounds
hopefully
good.
Forrest will join us then, so we'll have another character to play around with.
Be kind of cool to bring somebody in too, because we really haven't got a lot of. I mean, we've got a lot of play, but we haven't really done a huge amount of stuff.
The character creation, though, took up some of that time.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's awesome because it's she, right?
Yeah, Forrest.
Oh yeah,
it's Heather.
she didn't miss anything. Big.
Yeah, she can come in and pick up, and it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah, and the idea is you already know her character, so it's not like you need to introduce yourself to her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So yeah, do you have any feedback for this game, or for what we were doing?
I had a really, 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 really good time.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
good.
I definitely think it's great. For people watching the stream, I'm going offline now, and we'll talk the post-mortem stuff, I guess, offline. So, bye.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.